Hello, everyone. A very good morning. Welcome to StudyIQ English. I hope I am audible and visible to all my dear students. Welcome to the Hindu newspaper class. For 7 January 2026, let's look at which important UPSC relevant articles have we selected for the discussion today. Before I can show you the articles, in fact, as we see these articles, these are about 6 articles in total, but most of them have been taken from the editorial and the text page. So the first 3 articles here are editorial. And then the other articles are also slightly a lengthier take on whatever is going on across the world. And before I can start with these articles, here's a very good morning and a warm welcome to my dear students Sitaram, Pankaj, Rajendra, Satya. At the same time, Ratna, Grewal, aspirant Terukula is here. Bulbul has joined us. Priyanshu is here as well. Rebina, Yesiam, Santosh, Prasad, Adi, Sumed, Anoop. Kuldeep is here after a long time. Eric was not there yesterday. Good morning, Eric. We missed you, Eric. And Abhay and Priyanshu. Yes, it's been just like that now. I'm so sorry about the voice change. It's been about 10 to 15 days, but still, somehow, this cold and this bad throat hasn't left me behind. I'm sorry about that. You'll have to give me another few days to completely be fine, or maybe it's the weather condition, but then it has really taken a toll this time. I'm extremely sorry for this voice modulation every day. I'm really sorry about that. So, very good morning there. Sandy code name. Many more code names. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the class. Okay. Very good morning, Birappam. So, as I said, I have 6 articles for the day. Let me begin by showing you the first article. And Priyanshu, that was a very valid question you have raised. So, we had to cover half an hour of remaining monthly current affairs lecture. We couldn't have it yesterday, but probably we'll have it today or tomorrow. I will confirm you both on the YouTube channel as well as the Telegram link. So we will let you know about that. Kojumba has joined us. Good morning, my dear. I just thought about you. What a long life. Good morning, Rajeshwari. Ramu is here. Very good morning, all my dear students. Yes, that's right. Absolutely correct. And some good news coming my way. Kuldeep has got selected as, okay, wow, that's very good news, Kuldeep. Congratulations, Kuldeep. God bless you. All of us are always with you to celebrate your success. And I wish one day each one of you comes and tells me that for the UPSC exam also. I'm waiting for that day. Okay. So God bless you. Lots of love and blessings to you. Prasad is very happy because the first article starts from Mr. Shashi Tharoor, the prolific writer. Prasad's favorite. So good morning, everyone. Sumit, Abhinav, let us finally start. Okay, so it will be published probably today or tomorrow. We will have the remaining 8 topics to be covered. In case it is not done, then I'll let you know. Within 2 3 days, we'll have it. But I have posted the PDF in the Telegram group, Satya. You can check it from there. Very good morning. Thank you, Abhay. So kind of you, my dear. Let's start now. Good morning, Chandran. The first article for the day, written by none other than Mr. Shashi Tharoor, our favorite, my dear student Prasad's favorite. The right to disconnect is in an always on economy. So Mr. Tharoor says, today we talk about the right to disconnect. Whenever we are using the word right, naturally we are looking at a GS paper 2 perspective, polity and governance. Today we say that Indian citizens have so many fundamental rights in India, covered under Part 3 of the Indian Constitution. So many. All of these are justiciable. Each one of us, as Indian citizens, have a right to demand our fundamental rights. In case anybody tries to violate our fundamental right, we always have the choice in the form of Article 32 and Article 226 to reach out to the Supreme Court and the High Courts respectively, and the courts will issue writs including habeas corpus, quo warranto, prohibition, certiorari. All these writs will be issued by the court and our fundamental rights will be taken care of. Now, the same issue recently also came up when we were talking about the changes in the Manrega Act. From a demand based act to a welfare supply based initiative. That's when we started questioning. People in India, do they have a right to work also? We know we do not have a fundamental right to demand work, but there is another article. This is a part of DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy, Part 4 of India's Constitution, that says yes, right to work is also a right. Although it cannot be justified in the Supreme Court, but it is a duty of the government to provide people the right to work. Today we are looking at another right. Justiciable, limited, very, very good, everyone. Very good. Now, okay, aspirant, I'll take care of that. Don't worry, bache. I'll do that for you. Now, very good, Santosh. Now, coming back to what Mr. Tharoor says. No, he has written a very simple article today. And he says that in India, we should also have a right to disconnect because we are living in a time that is very stressful for all of us. See, never before in the history of mankind have we seen a phenomena where, after the industrial development and advances in medical science, every day there is a news that young people below the age of 40, below the age of 35 are experiencing cardiac problems, neurological problems. They are victims of diabetes type 1. They are victims of hypertension. It is unprecedented. We can blame this to the COVID pandemic and the vaccine. We can say that we do not have enough research on the vaccine, so maybe we can make these speculations. But in reality, something else is wrong. Ultimately, it boils down to the high stress, the high cortisol inducing jobs that we do. And that is why the writer of this article says it is very important to have a right to disconnect because economy is forever on. It is on a permanently on mode. There is no such time in which we can say, okay, now I want to take a small little breathing space. I do not want to engage with my office colleagues. I do not want to work. Well, that's not happening. And as Sitaram is saying, as other aspirants are saying, definitely it takes a toll on your family relations, on your cultural expression, on your emotional well being. Absolutely, it's lethal to us. Therefore, the writer of this article is saying we all have a right to disconnect. What do you mean by that? Sure, sure. Okay, Ritesh, just like aspirant said, sure. Now, the first thing in the digital age of today, smartphones, emails, laptops, lifestyle changes, Madhav, have made sure that there is no boundary between work and personal life. Therefore, this article is not just polity governance, it is definitely GS paper 4 work ethics, corporate ethics, work life balance, mental well being. Of course, in today's smart age, there is no boundary between personal life and professional life. You can do remote work from a vacation. You can do remote work from your own house. Employees are expected to be available 24/7. What does it lead to? It leads to burnout, exhaustion, stress, cortisol production, poor sleep pattern, and excessive health problems. Excessive health problems. This article written by Mr. Tharoor therefore argues that India urgently needs to legislate a legal right known as right to disconnect in order to protect the workers. Now, very interestingly, whenever you and I talk about the right to protect workers, we are always usually talking about the informal sector of the economy. I have told you multiple times, and my students know now. Right from the times of LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization, 1991, which in reality was the structural adjustment program. Our economy has become divided into two clear cut segments. Now, one is the white collar formal economy, and the other happens to be the blue, pink, and grey collar informal, unorganized sector economy. Usually, all the problems like low wage, as who said? Kojumba said. Low wage, no social security, no maternity, no menstrual, no paternity, no medical leave, no pension. All these are usually the problems that are experienced by the informal sector employees. After all, they are the ghost employees. After all, they are victims of vulnerable unemployment. But very interestingly, here is a new problem: excessive stress and burnout. That is paralyzing both the employees equally, employees of the formal sector plus the employees of the informal sector. Very interestingly, the stress and the burnout and the anxiety, the demand to be available 24/7 is equally heavy on the workers of the formal sector of the economy. So therefore, the writer says Indians deserve a legal right. Very good, Ramu. Indians deserve a legal right to disconnect. It should be a part of our legal framework. We absolutely should have a justiciable right there. Why is this a serious problem in India? Because on your screen you can see the data. 51% of Indian workers are working for more than 49 hours per week, as per an investigation of International Labour Organization. Whenever I talk about International Labour Organization 1919, India being a founding member, it must automatically remind you, bacha, that ILO has 8 mandatory conventions, but India has only signed 6 out of them. If Vikash was here, he would have reminded us immediately which 2 conventions are not signed by India. If anybody else know, you can definitely let me know. Very good, Terukula. Absolutely, Kojumba. That's valid. Ramu is valid in saying that. To negotiate about flexibility, yes. But right now we know 51% Indian workers are working for 49 hours per week and more than that. That's a data of ILO, 1919 body with 8 conventions, mandatory conventions, out of which India has not signed 2. Think about it. Next, 78% of employees are experiencing a burnout. They are exhausted by the end of the week. They have no productivity left. Now, why is this topic very important? Because when you analyze the reading comprehension passages from the CSAT paper of UPSC, you will see at least 10 times UPSC has given a passage on that. Getting tired, getting burnt out as an employee. So these are crucial topics. Yes? Long working hours, no rest, no space for mental well being, no space for skill enhancement. Ultimately, they lead to what? They lead to hypertension, high blood pressure, anxiety, stress, depression, diabetes, type 1, insulin resistance, and long term chronic mental health problems. Chronic mental health problems. Now, work related anxiety and stress contributes to 10 to 12% of mental health issues in our country right now. Overwork also reduces your productivity. When you are burnt out, you cannot perform properly. You are tired. Your creativity or innovation capacity dies. You make mistakes, further leading to poor efficiency at work, poor output, and the risk of losing your job. And apart from that, there has been a death of young employees. It's very common now. Young employees dying because of sudden stroke, getting paralyzed, becoming chronically depressed, or committing suicide, or getting a heart attack. Now, these are very common. These are not uncommon anymore. We can blame this on the vaccine, we can blame this on the COVID pandemic, but we know all these are just imaginations. In reality, it has to do with the stress. Now, if you look at the gap that happens because of this in India's current labor laws, why are India's labor laws failing? Why have they failed to do justice to employees? Because in India, we have a solid code. Recently, the government of India has announced 4 proper labor codes. Out of that, one code is about the 2020 Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code. As a part of this code, we are also trying to control the amount of working hours for our workers in the formal economy. But it will never provide any protection to the informal sector economy. See, let's be very clear about it. No matter how many laws you create, no matter how many 4 labor codes you try to implement, in reality, all these are going to support the formal sector. Why will it not support the informal sector? Because it is invisible. You can't even see them. What will you support them? Now, where is the data? Where is the job profile? Where is the contract? Where is the LinkedIn account of a housemaid, of a street vendor, of a construction laborer, of a taxi auto driver? Show me. It is not there. When there is no paper proof of their contribution, how will you provide them labor codes? Agreed. Now we are trying to provide the social security code, the e-shram portal, all of that. One nation, one ration card, but many are still unaware about that. So even the occupational safety code and all the four labor codes that Ramu has beautifully enlisted here, we can all refer to these four codes from the comment of Ramu, have failed to take care of GIG workers, platform workers, informal sector and contractual employees. Now, whenever you use the word contractual, always remember the vendor system. Always remember the vendor system. Social dumping, abuse and exploitation of employees is also a result of vendor system. What is vendor system? Vendor system has led to a new problem in India that is known as casualization of labor. Casualization of labor. Casualization of labor. This you will read in GS paper 1 and 2. What is casualization of labor? Suppose I open a company today. I become very successful. I open a big company. My company is doing very good. Great profits. I'm a unicorn soon. I'm a great startup. But I have an HR department also. My HR will take care of the white collar workers of my employee, their problems, their salary, their attendance, their rights. What about the person who distributes tea in my office? The person who is taking care of elevator? The lady who cleans the bathrooms every day? The lady who is cleaning the floor every day? What about them? Are they not my employees? They are. They are my employees. But I am not extending any HR benefits to them. Why? Because I have hired these employees not directly. No. I have hired them from a vendor. Very good, Satya. From a third party. From a third party, I have hired them. These are vendors, contractual employees for me. Today, if they do any problem, I am not going to talk to them directly. I will contact the vendor. The vendor pays them, I don't. I pay the vendor. This is an abuse of labor. Because despite being a part of my company, they are not getting any such benefit that a white collar employee should get. You see, this is called unorganized work. So many of you must have wondered what is the difference between informal and unorganized work? People use it in a very synonymous manner. Informal, unorganized. But that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. Informal sector is the sector that is outside the scope of taxation and welfare of the government. Sometimes within the formal sector, inside some companies, you will find a set of workers who are unorganized sector employees, such as lift worker, security guard, cleaner of the floor, the person who's taking care of electricity issues, the plumber. All these then come the informal sector. No, they are all the unorganized sector employees. My company will have great protocols on labor welfare, but they never go to these people because they are coming from a vendor. This is called casualization of labor. Easy hire, easy fire labor. I use them till I need them. The moment they say, ma'am, I am not well. Can I take one day off? The moment they say, I want to go to my village to give a vote. The moment they say, I am pregnant, I need 5 days off. You fire them. Because for you, they have no value. For you, they have no value. They are coming from vendor. Now you understood. So that's the difference here. No matter how many labor codes you enact, bacha, you can never do anything to also cover these unorganized sector employees. That's why the labor codes will fail to protect them. What labor codes? Terkula and Ramu have defined in a very good way. Blue collar, pink collar, grey collar, absolutely. Correct. Now that's why, because we have failed to protect them, there is a power imbalance in India. Employees are scared that today, if I do not take the call of my boss, or today, if I do not attend a meeting or an office party on Sunday or Saturday, I may be fired. I may lose the goodwill of my employers. And that's why you entertain late night emails also. You are ready to contribute your weekends also. And you are ready to compromise on your work, on your medical issues and your emotional well being also. You are ready to contribute everything that you have. So, what is the target behind the right to disconnect bill as per Dr. Shashi Tharoor? He says make the right to disconnect legally enforceable for all the employees. I repeat, make it legally enforceable for all the employees. There are two main protections that the employees need. One, employees cannot be, they should not be punished or discriminated because they are ignoring communication outside of the working hour. Second, they should have a grievance redressal mechanism. If their right is not met, they should have a separate cell in the HR department, just like under the POSH Act, Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace. Under this act, we have made it compulsory now that any company with more than 10 employees should have an internal complaints committee to investigate the cases of sexual abuse. Similarly, we need to have it today to make sure that every employee is met with their right to disconnect. Their grievances should be taken care of because you should treat mental health as an utmost priority. Today, we are saying by creating the 2020 Occupational Safety Code, you are ready to protect the workers in the mines. You are ready to protect the workers who are doing painting and construction jobs. Then why don't you protect people from mental abuse? Is the right to disconnect, is the right to stay away from work during the non working hours not a part of your mental benefit? Is it not coming under occupational safety? It is. Can we have examples from other countries? Of course, we can have. Now, if you look at a country known as Portugal, you look at country that's known as Italy. Yesterday, we spoke about Miss Giorgia Meloni, the right wing leader. If you look at a country called Ireland, if you look at another country named as Australia, all these countries have already enacted the right to disconnect. They have it. France enacted in 2017. Yes, they all have it. Yes, very good, Terukula. Posh 2013, amended 2015, correct? They all have this right. India doesn't have. These laws require us to define the rules. What do you mean by after working hour? What do you mean by non working hour? We should learn a lesson from the globe to reduce abuse of the employee to improve productivity. Dr. Tharoor says taking some time off from work will never impact productivity, but continuing to work will definitely impact productivity by taking for a toss your mental well being. Why do we need a central law today? Because certain states like India, Kerala, have already started local initiatives. They have already begun local initiatives. What local initiatives are they doing? They are now trying to create an awareness among employees about the right to disconnect. But it is not going to help. India needs a uniform pan country laws, pan India laws. The problem is a nationwide problem, it's not a state wise problem. Very good question, Kundan. By God's grace, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you so much. Now, coming back. GIG and digital workers also need that consistent protection. If you look at beyond the law, what cultural change is important? Now, here I am naturally reminded of a lesson from sociology. I am not bringing in any optional here, but there is one thing I can't stop myself from sharing with you. Article by Dr. Tharoor says making a law is not enough. Bringing a cultural change is also important. This reminds me of the word called cultural lag. In Indian society and sociology, we often say that whenever you make a law, the law is always on paper. It is always a material change. This brings a change in the material culture, the physical culture. It is not necessary that it will also bring a change in the non material culture. That means the values, the beliefs, and the behavior of people. There is no guarantee. A very good example can be Article 17 has prohibited untouchability, but still people practice that. There is a right of women. In fact, there is a dowry prohibition law in India, but still people practice dowry. Bringing a change on paper is not the same thing as bringing a change in people's attitude. The gap between the two is known as culture lag. Shashi Tharoor, Dr. Tharoor says he is not using the word culture lag, but he's saying legislation is not enough. You need to bring a change in the attitude of people. You need to make people aware through symposiums, workshops, and other educational material that quality of output matters. Long working hours don't matter. Just like we did an article few days before, that attendance in college doesn't matter. The learning that you have matters. We should make it mandatory to have mental health counseling and psychological support at workplace. A very good comment was made by Satya and Ramu. Ultimately, it is also about demographic dividend. India is a country with a massive young population. We have a youth bulge. That means when there is too much supply of population and labor force, people will take it for granted. We have done another article on this few days back, which said that in India, most of the factories depend on labor power, not on machine. They know there is so much labor power that why should you buy machine? And that is where India could not compete with China's manufacturing industry, manufacturing sector. Today we need to bring that change. Very good, Karan. It's about productivity versus population, productivity versus production. Correct. I know we have a large labor force, but it doesn't mean that you can abuse people till they completely lose their productivity. Why this reform is important? The right to disconnect is not a burden on the employer, it is an investment in the labor productivity. It is an investment in labor creativity and innovation. The healthier our population, the better our demographic dividend. When we can send 5 lakh people to Russia, why can't we upskill our own population by making them more productive? So, therefore, according to Dr. Tharoor, right to disconnect should be a fundamental right. It is about public health. It is about sustainable economic growth. It is about Article 21, the right to life and life with dignity. That's all Dr. Tharoor says. Quickly, let's have a look at the question now. Very, very good, Ramu. Behavioral change always takes time, bacha. Very good. It's not always true. Correct. Very good, Madhav. Absolutely, Priyanshu. It's very important. Mental well being is very important, even for a student, also. Absolutely correct. Now, with reference to right to disconnect in the context of India, look at these statements, please. One, the proposed right to disconnect seeks to protect employees from being punished for refusing to respond to work related communication beyond the prescribed working hours. Now, think and answer. Yesterday, I got a feeling that because we are in a hurry, many students they are not able to read the statements properly, and then it's like the group answering sort of pattern it develops. Let's avoid that. Take more time, read it, but answer only when you are convinced and do try. Right, wrong doesn't matter. Second, Occupational Safety, Health and Working Condition Code 2020 currently provides a comprehensive protection to GIG workers and contractual employees against excessive working hour. 3. Several countries like France 2017, Australia have already incorporated the right to disconnect in their labor laws. Which of these are valid? Abhay, Sagarika, Priyanshu, Sumit, Parna, Eric, Kojumba, Nagar, Santosh Ramu, Ayan Sitaram, Madhav. Everyone is answering. Very good. Adi, Karan. Then which of these are valid? Absolutely. A is the right answer. No doubts there. A is the right answer. A should be the right answer. First statement is valid. Third statement is valid. Second statement cannot be correct. Why can it not be correct, Bache? Because we just discussed Ramu and Terukula. And I think who else did that? Somebody else also. Sorry, I skipped the name. They have clearly just now discussed with us the 4 labor laws that we have enacted recently. One of that is social security. One is on wage, and another one therefore is on occupational safety, health and working condition code 2020. Yes, we have enacted that, but it has nothing to do with right to disconnect. Plus, it is not even going to protect the workers in the GIG platform or the informal sector economy. Only one code is there which takes care of informal sector among these 4, that is the social security code 2020, but that also is not fully implemented. Thanks, Ramu. Once again, Ramu explains us these codes so we can read that comment. Now, quickly, the second article. Again, page number 8, editorial, bache. Have a look, please. Yes, Sumit Madhav, let's have a look. Yes, they can do that. We can do that. Polling is a very good feature in Telegram also. We'll do that slowly, slowly. Let's get there. Let's first make our group large enough and then we'll introduce polling also. Good idea. Quickly, the next article. America's Venezuelan actions are more unlawful. Now, today the newspaper is abuzz with articles on Venezuela. But I am a proud teacher because my students know the location of Venezuela. My students will know Colombia. My students know about Southern Sphere. My students know Trinidad and Tobago. They understand the Ica coast point in Trinidad, very near to Venezuelan coast. They know Venezuela has huge oil reserves. They recently know that President Trump has captured Venezuela, the leader, Mr. Nicolas Maduro. Now, President Trump is also therefore threatening countries like Cuba. Today, we have an article on Greenland as well as Colombia. I know you all know that. Any doubts? Share with me. You can share anything with me. Whether if it's for UPSC, if it is regarding studies, feel free, bache, I have no problem. Code name Pookie or whatever the code name is, feel free to share. Let's proceed. Let's come back now. Here is the map on Venezuela. You please keep having a look at the map. Try to absorb the map. The more map we look at, the better we become. Sumed, aspirant, yes. Very good, bache. Very good. That's wonderful, Madhav. Let's have a focus on the map. As you are looking on this map, bacha, do focus on Venezuela. This heart-shaped country on the top of South America, Latin America. Please have a look at that. As you are focusing on Venezuela, I want all eyes to be on Trinidad and Tobago. I want you to focus on another country on the left, that is Cuba. I'm encircling Cuba because this is also on President Trump's target. So look at Cuba carefully. Look, where is Central America? Look at South America. Look, here is North America. Here you can see Cuba, and Cuba is next to another island, and another island called Haiti. It's always full of gang war and narcotic drug business. It's a very dangerous place. Okay, so focus on these areas. Let me quickly start talking about the article. Focus on what I'm saying as well. Okay, very good. The serpentine mouth Kojumba. Very good. Let's focus. What does this article say? Brilliant. Article is saying America, United States of America, President Donald Trump has used military force against Venezuela and captured the president Nicolas Maduro. This is a serious violation of international law. Even though Maduro government has not pleaded guilty at all. Mr. Maduro had been accused by his own country of dictatorship, authoritarian rule, and corruption, but America had no right to come and capture Mr. Maduro and his wife at the midnight hour by conducting a secret military operation. Why is it illegal? Because first American president started attacking the ships and oil tankers from Venezuela. As aspirant says, there were three in the news. Bella 1, Skipper, as well as, which was the third one? Bella 1, Skipper, and which was the third one quickly? Centuries. All these three oil tankers were captured. They were all coming from Venezuela, going to Cuba, going to other countries. Why were they captured? Very good, reminded by Sumit. Because according to President Trump, none of these oil tankers and ships from Venezuela qualify under the international classification system, under the classification society. None of them are classified ships. All of them are illegal ships. They have no insurance paper, no permit, and therefore these are known as one of my students just said, shadow fleet. They are criminal. They are conducting narcotic drug terror business. That's why they were all captured. Then President Trump stationed his troops at Trinidad and Tobago and started attacking Venezuela with missiles, military action, known as Operation Southern Spear. Southern Spear. That was the beginning. After that, immediately, a secret midnight operation happened. Nicolas Maduro captured. Why is it illegal? It is illegal because just now my students like Kojumba, aspirant, everybody has confirmed to me that it is a breakdown of United Nations Charter Article 2 by 4. It is a breakdown of this global protocol under which it is prohibited. It is prohibited that one country should use force or action on another country. One country cannot even threaten another country. It is prohibited. It is only allowed under two exceptions. Very good, Priyanshu. Two exceptions are allowed. Two exceptions are allowed. One, Article 51, the right to self defense. You can attack another country if you are doing it with the purpose of self defense, something that India has done in the case of Operation Sindoor against terror activities in Pakistan. Otherwise, you cannot. Second exception, when you have a permission of United Nations Security Council. These are the only two exceptions in which you can use Article 2.4. You can break it. You can attack another country. You can threat another country. Only two exceptions. Article 51, self-defense. Second, United Nations Security Council should give approval to that. Did America take any of these exceptions? No. No. America attacked unilaterally. America is acting like United Nations and it has broken down Article 2.4 protocol. None of these two exceptions are applicable in the case of Mr. Maduro's abduction and kidnapping. Why does America's justification fail here? Because America is saying law enforcement action is needed to arrest criminals. America says, I am doing this because I need my neighborhood to be peaceful. America says, I am afraid of the drug, the cocaine, and the fentanyl that comes from South America. Therefore, I had to take an action. America says Mr. Maduro was a threat to America's internal security, but none of these justifications are true. International law does not allow, by the way, one more thing, international law does not allow the arrest of a foreign head of state by force. You cannot arrest another country's leader by force. Using military power for law enforcement is also prohibited in another country. It's not allowed. Reviving ideas like Monroe Doctrine. Today, this article is calling Monroe Doctrine as Dunroe Doctrine. From Donald Trump, it has now become Dunroe Doctrine. It was Monroe Doctrine, the doctrine used by North America to keep on its hegemony in South America. Monroe Doctrine. Today, it has become Dunroe Doctrine, where President Donald Trump is doing what he wants with South America. Yes, it is very imperialistic. It is completely anti-sovereign. Now, this is coming at a time when President Trump has issued three very shocking statements. Statement number one, Cuba is unsafe. We need to do something to protect Cuban people. Second, Greenland has always been a strategic interest of America because of the access to Arctic Circle. Third, we might consider interfering in Colombia. And fourth, India knows that if it doesn't make me happy, then I can also increase the tariff to 75%. Now, all these four are shocking comments made by President Trump. Are we looking at a more show of power, more force and more fight? Plus, day before yesterday, he told Iran that even if one protester is touched, one protester is also attacked, I will also take action against Iran. You see, threatening five countries in one statement is not a joke. Absolutely, Terukula. Terukula said that yesterday. It's not Monroe, ma'am, it's becoming Dunroe Doctrine. Your words came true. Today, Hindu says that. It is Dunroe Doctrine. Very good, Terukula. You see, that is the kind of hegemony that's going on. Now, if you look at the state immunity, then focus. There is a body called International Court of Justice. This is the judicial organ of United Nations. It clearly says in one of its jurisdiction in an arrest warrant case that sitting heads of countries enjoy personal immunity. They all have a right to personal immunity. Immunity, Russian personi. You cannot arrest them. Foreign courts cannot kidnap them while they are still working in the office. You can't do that. Even if elections were manipulated, even if there was a corruption, you cannot arrest a foreign body leader. You can't do that. But America today does not recognize that. America says, I don't even recognize Maduro as the legal leader of Venezuela. He's a dictator. If I can do that with Saddam Hussein and Taliban, why will I spare Maduro? International law says, since the Maduro government controls Venezuelan territory, he should be legally immune. Nobody can arrest him like that. He also enjoys personal immunity against arrest, but America has not done that. And that's dangerous. That's a dangerous precedent that American president has shown us today. If American president is laying this dangerous example, don't you think today the same thing can be done by China, North Korea, and Russia as well? Of course it can be done. When one person breaks the law, everyone else does. You can't allow countries, you cannot allow them to use or to deny immunity to ruling leaders on the basis of political like and dislike. It discourages international relations. It is leading to another kind of global leadership. Forcefully abducting a foreign leader from his house along with his wife is an internationally wrongful act. It's an internationally wrongful act. It's illegal. Attempting to run another country, allowing interference is also illegal. This is a bad example that he has laid, by the way. And what is the solution to this problem? The only solution is to strengthen democracy. If you cannot expect democracy from a country like America, which is the largest economy, one of the largest military, you cannot expect it from any other country either. Democratic countries should collectively take an action against America today. This is not the time to fight amongst yourself. It is the time to fight for a more fair international order. It could build up to another world war, Kojuba. It could lead to a chain reaction, Terukula. Yes. Article 2.4 of United Nations Charter was made after the Second World War to control future wars, to stop authoritarian dictatorship. But today, the action against Venezuela, today, the disrespect shown against Cuba, Iran, India, Greenland is once again an insult to the global order. And that's what we are saying. That's what the whole world is looking at right now. That's it. Quickly focus on the question, please. Thank you, Pookie. And that's a valid statement made by you. Abhay, then probably, bache, try to log in from some other account. Otherwise, it will keep disturbing you, you know. Okay, which, with reference to international law and recent American action against Venezuela, look at these statements here. One, Article 2.4 of United Nations Charter prohibits the use of force by states. Here, states means countries. Be very clear about it. Whenever you are talking about international politics, the word state is country. The word means country. If you are talking in Indian context, then it means the 28 states of India. So it prohibits that one country cannot use force in the case of another country. It can only be allowed in the case of self-defense or when allowed by UNSC. Second, under the international law, a sitting leader of a country enjoys personal immunity. Immunity Russian personi coming from criminal jurisdiction of foreign courts, irrespective of how the leader came to the power. And three, forcefully arresting the head of another country or state by another country's in another country's territory without their consent amounts to a violation of sovereignty. What is sovereignty? Complete control over a given piece of land. And it is an internationally wrong act. Which of these are valid? Is that true, Satya? Kojumba? Santosh? Then why are some students having a little confusion? Yes, Priyanshu, is that true? And what about other students? What about Madhav, Rebina, Sumit, Katyayani, Abhilash? Okay. And what about Sitaram and Prasad and Terukula? What about Bulbul Iba? What about Ayan? What about Akhtar? I'm not seeing any answers. Correct, Chandana Rajendra. Adi. Okay, Anup. Got it. But what about Sitaram, Terukula, Bulbul, Iba, Ayan, Akhtar? Why am I not hearing from them? Are you there? Nagar, that's correct. Sumed, yes? Okay. All these are correct. Sitaram, that's correct. Saw your answer, Prasad. Very good. Good. Madhav has answered. All are correct. They have to be correct. The first is right. That's what we discussed. Two exceptions are there. No? One is 51, Article of UN Charter, self-defense. Another is until you get approval from UNSC. Okay, Sitaram. Second statement. Okay, bache, I'll explain it to you. Under the international law, now that is what the International Court of Justice says. Okay, under the international protocol, if a person is leading a country, he's the leader of a country, president, prime minister, you cannot arrest them like that. They enjoy personal immunity from arrest proceedings. You can't arrest them. One leader cannot go to another country and arrest that leader randomly. You can't do that. Even if that leader is a dictator, even if that leader is doing corruption, that is a separate matter, but you can't go and arrest them like that. There has to be a proper proceeding for that. International Criminal Court has to be involved. Then comes ICJ. Then comes referendum. All of that. You can't go and arrest them like that. That is invalid. Okay, so it's correct. Third is also correct. Terukula, Sumed, Abhay are saying we are all answering. No problem. All are correct. D is the right answer. Well done. Well done. Today I have a very interesting article for you through the map that is about Greenland. The newspaper did not talk much about it, but I have made a big concept over Greenland. I'll show you the whole map. It's very exciting. We are going there now. We are going there in 5 minutes. First, let's focus on this. Another article, bache, page number 8. Editorial. Another editorial. Now, the location has changed. Keep on traveling mentally. Become a mental traveler. The more you enjoy traveling from mind, the more you love doing map. Now that Kojumba has spoken about North Korean leader Kim Jong, she has triggered me. She has reminded me of something. May I share what am I reminded of? Yesterday in the newspaper, I saw something very funny. I thought I will discuss, but then I skipped from my mind. Now that Kojumba said, I am reminded. Yesterday, I was watching the news channel Al Jazeera and CNN. It was so funny. Suddenly, a news comes in between and says that the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong, is also getting nervous right now. He couldn't sleep for 2 nights after President Trump has arrested Mr. Maduro. He was not able to sleep for 2 nights peacefully. He has improved his security. He is so worried that if it can happen to Venezuela, it can happen to any time. It can happen to me also. It can happen to anyone. I was like, I couldn't control my laughter for some time. It is such a serious issue, but I don't know how it just sounded so funny to me. A man who is the dictator of his in his own might, a man who is the ruler, the de facto ruler of his own area, he was not able to sleep. That's the terror of President Trump right now. Imagine that. Next, I will be taken away. It was like I just went in splits. So I thought I'll share with you what is happening in this world. Honestly, I really don't know. Very strange. Okay, quickly the next article. At a crossroads, at a crossroads. Now, from all these countries, it's hilarious, From all these countries like Venezuela, let's travel back to another country that is having a lot of problem right now, and we are looking at Iran. And before I look into this article, when did we speak about Iran the last time? We spoke about Iran the last time when we were discussing how Iran is a key enemy of not just United States of America, but also other countries like Saudi Arabia and Israel, who are the key supporters and key allies of America. But Iran is also a very powerful country. Very powerful country because Iran has one of the highest efficient technology that is needed for uranium enrichment. No wonder plants of Iran, nuclear power plants of Iran like Bushehr, Fardao, Natanz, they are always under IAEA inspection, International Atomic Energy Agency. Interestingly, Iran is also a part of Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, but still America and Saudi do not trust Iran. In fact, a lot of people are saying the reason why Saudi Arabia has chosen to make friends with Pakistan again is the fear from Iran. Today, Iran is also in the news because of a protest that's going on in Iran. Very good, Ramu. A huge round of applause for him. Thanks for reminding. Iran was also in the news, Bacha, because we have spoken about the Chabahar port, a key connectivity in India's India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor, which is very close to Pakistan's Gwadar port and Terukula. Clap for you as well. Iran was also in the news because of JCPOA, the agreement Iran signed with America and few other countries that I am not going to do any nuclear enrichment, but still nobody trusted him. Nobody trusted Iran. Today it is in the news because of another problem. I discussed with you few days before. Correct, Karan. Beautifully said. Few days before I told you, Bacha, that Iran is a theocracy. Theocracy because it is a country that is more dominated by religious leaders than political leaders. Today, Iran has a president, but he does not have that much power. There is much more power that is in the hands of Ayatollah Khamenei, who is the religious leader head of Iran. Correct? Now, what is happening? Protest is going on in Iran. But why to talk? Just see the map. Please, everybody, come to the map. Sorry. Iran. You can see the orange color Iran. As we are looking about the location of Iran, one of my students mentioned, who did that? Sorry. Prasad did that. Prasad mentioned Strait of Hormuz. Bacha, please see Strait of Hormuz. Thank you, Bacha. Iran has many choke points because of Iran's strategic location in the Persian Gulf. Yes. There is a very interesting choke point, Strait of Hormuz. Agreed. I also discussed with you, Iran is a rare Shia country. In the entire Middle East Gulf region that is dominated by Sunni countries, Iran happens to be a Shia country. That is also the reason why Iran supports a Shia militant group known as Hezbollah. Hezbollah. Where does Iran support Hezbollah? Iran supports Hezbollah in Yemen, which has a long boundary with Saudi Arabia. Northern part of Yemen is characterized by Hezbollah militancy supported by Iran. That is also why Yemen is an area which is a proxy war between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Don't forget. Now let's come back to Iran. Very good. Excellent, bache. Great, Prabhav Chandra Ko Jumba. Santosh Priyanshu Karan. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Now let's come back. Houthi. Very good. Absolutely. The Houthi rebel. Houthi rebel. Then why is everybody saying yes for Hezbollah? Only one person was able to point that out. Who said Lebanon? Who mentioned Lebanon right now? Who was the one who could find out? Somebody mentioned Lebanon here. Who was that? Karan mentioned Lebanon. Lebanon Hezbollah. We are talking about Yemen conflict. In detail, we have done Yemen conflict. Very good. In detail, we have done Yemen conflict. Militia Iraq. Hamas Palestine. We have done match the following also. Hezbollah Lebanon. Then which militancy group is in Yemen? Northern Yemen is being demanded by these militants and they are supported by Iran. Saudi doesn't want that. Saudi wants peace, unified government in Yemen. Which terror group is that? Quickly confirm. South Yemen is different, aspirant. South Yemen is being controlled by UAE-led separatist forces. That is different. Southern Transition Council, supported by UAE. I'm talking about Northern Yemen on the border of Saudi. Which militant group is present over there? Supported from Iran. Shia group. Quickly confirm. Hezbollah or Houthi? Why everybody said yes when I said Hezbollah? Quickly confirm. Houthi or Hezbollah? Where is Hezbollah coming here? Houthi rebel. Very good. Houthi rebel. Don't get confused. Don't, once again, I will do the same thing. Excellent, Karan, for mentioning Lebanon, and great job there. The next person who commented Houthi, Ayan. Very good, Ayan. And excellent, everybody. Mark these words. Not Hezbollah. Houthi rebels in North Yemen supported by Iran. Yemen is a war fought between Saudi plus Iran, now also UAE in southern Yemen. Because UAE wants access to Strait of Hormuz and all these strategic points. We will show the map again because there is some confusion. Okay, Terukula didn't say. Good. Can we come back now to Iran alone? Let's focus on Iran. Good job. What am I talking about? We are talking about the Shia country Iran. Just now, all my students confirmed. Strait of Hormuz, Chabahar port, very good. Today, a protest is happening in Iran. I told you it is led by a religious leader, Khamenei. The president is there, but he is just a nominal head. The real power is in the hand of Khamenei. But today, Iran is witnessing a large scale nationwide protest. Why? Because there is a massive retaliation by the shopkeepers and businessmen. People are feeling that Irani economy has declined. Iran's oil profits are declining. Iran is seeing a big protest, the biggest one since 2023. Majority of these protests have started after the death of a lady whose name is, I'm writing here, Mahsa Amini. Mahsa Amini. Everybody please remember this name. Mahsa Amini. Who is this lady? Who is this lady? She died in 2023. Who is Mahsa Amini? Mahsa Amini was a Kurdish Iranian woman whose death happened in police custody in September 2022. This has created a major protest in Iran since 1979 to now. This is the biggest protest that's happening. Her name has been given. Her name today is symbolic of woman life freedom. Woman life, very good, Karan. Woman life freedom. Today, women in Iran are unhappy. They are saying we don't want to live a conservative life. We want freedom. We want our rights to be met. We cannot tolerate this much control. It all started from the death of Mahsa Amini within police custody. Today, she is known as Woman Life Freedom Campaign. This became a global symbol of resistance against gender discrimination and dictatorship in Iran. All these protests started from 28 December itself in Tehran, the capital, due to a sharp fall in the value of Iranian currency. Iranian rial. Just now you saw the domination of petrodollar. Indian currency also depreciated. Today we are talking about Iran currency value is getting severely depreciated. And then the protest has spread across the country. 12 people have died, and the government has warned of strict action against the protesters. Iran is facing economic crisis. Food inflation has reached 64%, second highest globally. 64% food inflation, a rise in the prices of goods and services and commodities. They are unaffordable. Iran's currency rial has lost 60% of its value since the last June. Oil exports have severely fallen down by about 7% in 2025 compared to 24. There is a daily power cut. People are not getting basic necessities met. The president is only a leader in the name. The president, Masoud Pezeshkian, is only a leader in the name. He is admitting, he has made a confession that the government is helpless, the government is stuck. In reality, there is political and security pressure. The protest started 6 months after the 12-day conflict with Israel. Now, if you remember, don't forget, Bacha, in September and October, led by America, led by President Trump, Israel had attacked Iran's nuclear power plant. America had used an advanced technology called B-2 bomber and completely destroyed the underground nuclear facility of Iran named as Fordow. Since then to now, there has been no stability in Iran. President Trump warned today. Today he is giving a warning to Iran that if you try to trouble the protester, we will use force against you. Why is he interfering? Why is he interfering? Does he really care about the protester? I'm sorry, no. He is bothered about the oil resources of Iran. He is troubled by the nuclear enrichment of Iran. And he wants to topple the government of Iran. And this is an opportunity for him. External pressure has increased so much on Iran today that it is leading to complete suppression of people. There is no reform that has been done so far. The leader, the president, Pezeshkian, has said, okay, we are not going to harm the people. We will relax the moral policing. We will not trouble people. We will give them more freedom and more rights. But in reality, there is little freedom and security that people have got. There is no freedom. Plus, people are not even sure tomorrow America or Israel might attack again. Saudi is already an enemy. There is no security at all. Plus, there is a UN sanction. Plus, there is an American sanction. America had also sanctioned oil from Iran plus the Chabahar port. Because of American sanction, the value of Iranian oil has also fallen down. Economy cannot settle down now. Iran's government, rather than understanding its own mistake, is busy blaming the outsiders, ignoring the domestic causes. What is the root cause of the agitation and protest today? Economic decline, corruption, excessive power in the hands of Khamenei, growing public anger, lack of job, lack of opportunity, lack of freedom for women, too much restriction on private life. All these have today retaliated people. Now jingoism, nationalism, religion are not enough to keep people in control. People have become frustrated due to financial problems. Is there a solution? Yes, there is. Rather than blaming foreign powers, only if Mr. Khamenei could understand that we must initiate economic and political reforms, allow better women participation in economy, take care of too much corruption and red tapeism, once again engage with the global community, with friendly countries like at least India. And for America, once again, if America continues to attack, if America continues to behave like this, probably it just means that Iran will, out of insecurity, keep on suppressing its own people. It will keep on repeating once again the cycle of protest. So, America should understand in the greed of oil and material benefits, completely destabilizing West Asian stability is not going to do good to anybody today. Iran's protests are about a long term economic failure. Today, parasites and outsiders, eagles and predators like America, are just waiting for the right opportunity. If Iran doesn't settle the problem with its people, tomorrow people will threaten and people will attack, and there is nothing we can do to stop that. Okay? Let's now look at the question. Yes, Kojuba, it's almost like that. Unfortunate but true. Yes. Wherever there is oil, now we are seeing predators are getting attracted to that. As Karan said, it's the resource curse. What else can we call it? Yes, and that's dangerous. If Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz, majority of global supply chains will get shut off. That's dangerous. Quickly, the question. With reference to recent protests in Iran, consider these statements. One, the protests have been triggered by economic distress, particularly the sharp fall in the value of Iranian rial and high inflation. Second, Iran's economic crisis has been aggravated. The word aggravated. Oh, what a heavy word that is. Oh my God, aggravated is a heavy word here. Reminds me of something. Aggravated word reminds me of something we have discussed last week coming from 2012. Can anybody remind me what I must be getting reminded of? Yes? Can anybody remind me? The word aggraved, aggravated. What can it remind me from 2012? Yes? Ramu? Can anybody remind me? Third statement, Iran's government has fully addressed the root cause of the protest by implementing a wide range of economic and political reforms. That's not true. Iran has not done anything, and that's why the protest is going on, making B the valid answer. A big clap for everyone because all the answers are correct. And thank you. Thank you, Santosh, Priyanshu, everyone else for reminding me, Ramu, of the POXO Act, Prabha. Very good. We have recently discussed the POXO Act 2012, in particular Section 6 that deals with aggraved crimes. When the victim is minor and the person who has done the crime is the person in power, a political leader, lawyer, teacher, administrator, all of that. Very good. Plus the 2019 amendment of making death penalty in case it's an aggressive crime. Very good. Correct, everyone. Terukula, Ayan, Sumed, Prabhav, Kochumba, Nagar. Right answer, Rebina Madhav. Very good. Very well answered. Everyone is right here. Perfect. Quickly, the next article. A small one, and then we proceed with the most awaited article of the day. Greenland. Let's learn about Greenland. That's exciting. Let's quickly finish this. It's again from the main text page, Rethinking India's Skilling Outcomes. It's a very short article in reality. Rethinking India's Skilling Outcomes. GS Paper 3, Indian Economy, Demographic Dividend, the skill in Indian workforce, unemployment, all of that. What does the article say? Article is saying that India has today built one of the largest skilling systems in the world. We all have now understood, at least after 2015, that we have a huge demographic dividend, a youth bulge, but because there is so much population, 1.4 billion people, we cannot provide employment to everybody. We cannot provide job opportunities to everyone in the formal sector. It's not possible. Why? Because there is the concept of structural unemployment. The job opportunities are few and the people are too many. That causes structural unemployment. Plus, job opportunities are there, but people do not have the right skill to do these jobs. Again, a mismatch. Whenever there is a mismatch between job and the number of applicants, it is called structural unemployment. We have that in India. To solve that problem, Indian government decided, let us start the Skilling India campaign. Why cannot we provide vocational and industry relevant skills to our people? We can also have the Skill India Mission, Startup India Mission. We can also have the National Skill Development Council. We can have the National Education Policy 2020 to provide more vocational and skills to people. We can have the scheme called PM Vishwakarma scheme. All these are relevant to teach people how to do business. Obviously, when you cannot give everybody job, Vikash, you are there, good morning. When you cannot give everybody job, at least allow them to start entrepreneurship. Am I wrong? That's true. And that's why we have started Skill India Mission. The biggest proof of India's skilling mission is Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. From 2015 to 2025, we have trained about 1.40 crore people. Despite that, there is a failure somewhere. What failure am I looking at? The failure is that we have the largest skilling ecosystem, and still in India, there is no benefit people are getting. Why they are not getting benefit? Yes, why they are not getting benefit? Karan, Ramu, Vikash, Anup, Sumet, Terukula, Madhav, Kojumba, yes, Bulbul, Iba, Ayan. Why they are not getting benefit? Tell me. Because in India, skilling is not aspirational. People are not wanting, people do not have the desire to take up skilling programs. They still believe in the traditional model. Finish your schooling, as Vikash says, Prelims 3 scheme. Finish your schooling, go to college, eventually you will get a job. But that doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that now. Just having a job, just having a education certificate and schooling will not give you a job. You need industry relevant skills. STEM, AI, the new generation digital skills. Without that, who will give you a job? At least you will not get in the formal sector. Correct. That is why in India, despite the fact that we have trained 1.4 crore people, the wage rise is very less. We are not getting salary rise for people. That too, not everybody has been able to get a productive job. What is a productive job? White collar job. A job that gives you good salary and social security. It has not happened like that. Most of the jobs that are being created, I repeat, so listen carefully. Most of the jobs that we are creating are in the informal sector, invisible sector, ghost employees, blue collar, pink collar, gray collar. They are getting jobs over there. Because even if they take a certification or diploma, they still do not get the jobs in today's multinational companies or government departments. They don't get, or in private companies. Very good, Karan. They can't get because they do not have the diploma or the certificate that deals with real life problems. They don't satisfy the needs of today's job market. That's the failure. According to periodic labor force survey, there is a limited quality of life that gets improved even after vocational training. I can take 40 courses in teaching. Does it mean I will become the head of some university? No. No. Because by working you get experience. Skill does not come from a diploma or a certification. Skill comes from practice. Skill comes from the right kind of education. By taking random diplomas and certifications, if we start getting productive jobs, then it is great. Then what is the problem? But that's not going to happen. Sorry. Why are skilling programs failing India's youth? Why? Because India's gross enrollment ratio is only 28%. Nobody wants to take these skilling programs. Very good, Ramu. And 50% people will never be able to get vocational training by 2035 that we aim for. We think by 2035 we will train 50% of Indian population. It can't happen like that. Today it is only 28%. What magic will happen in another 9 years? It cannot be achieved only through training and certification and degree diploma. You can take it online also. It's not going to train you. Real experience comes when your school, your college integrates that kind of training in your curriculum. When you are given opportunities of doing internship and practical work experience, that can change the situation. Only 4.1, I repeat, 4.1% of India's workforce has got formal vocational training. Formal vocational training. Training that is used in proper jobs. Rest, all of it is theory. If you look at the OECD countries by contrast, if you compare India with OECD countries, 44% of college students are already into vocational jobs. Because I have just spoken about OECD, what do you mean by that? We all know about OPEC, OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Do we know about OECD? What is it? OECD means Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. It is an intergovernmental body that promotes global economic and social well-being. Created in 1961. Yes, in countries like Australia, Finland, in countries like Netherlands, 70% people are already in vocational jobs. If you look at India's Skill Report 2025, most of the graduates in India, most of the graduates, they pursue post-degree skilling. Till graduation, they are studying theory, only theory. After graduation, they start doing things like MBA, MCA, or some diploma and certificate. We don't understand that all this time till 21 years you have wasted in studying theory only. Only if your government would have understood and your graduation program itself could have been vocational, then things would be different. After graduation, even if you do a master's, will it train you in 2 years or 1 year to take up a formal job? Who will trust your skills? Nobody will trust your skill. Because skill has to be developed with the degree. Still cannot come by taking a diploma. That is the reason Why there is low productivity in India? It takes years for companies to train employees. They are not prepared to do the jobs. There is a very weak industry participation, as Karan mentioned, industry academia collaboration. Today it is the duty. We often talk about corporate social responsibility, CSR. Few days back we spoke about corporate social responsibility towards environment. Article 51 AG, fundamental duty. But is it not the fundamental duty? Is it not corporate responsibility to also help India's colleges, institutes, and industries to grow together? We should allow them to combine together. Great professionals from multinational and domestic companies can come and train the college students. That's how it's going to help us. Hiring is completely about skill. It is not about degree, by the way. So we should have programs like National Apprenticeship Program, where industry can come and combine with university, so that every student understands what is it to work in a company or what is it to start a business life. Theory knowledge is not going to help. Today, Indian government has invested so much money and initiated a program known as SSC. SSC, Sector Skill Council. What are these? These are industry led bodies. They have been created by the government. They are led by the industries. They are meant to improve the skill and the job employment opportunities for various young people in retail, logistic, healthcare, IT, and all of them are working under National Skill Development Council, NSDC. But the problem is, most of them, even today, are only giving training that doesn't translate into job. It is not giving job to people. See, for a certification and a degree to be actually helpful, it should be industry relevant and credible. People should believe in it also. Today, I can take 1000 certifications from online, Harvard, Stanford, anywhere. Will the company which gives me job believe in that? Or will this certification give me the talent to start a business? If yes, then good. If no, then what is the point? What is the use? If after taking these many degrees also I'm doing platform and GIG work, then better I should not take that degree. Why am I wasting my money? Basic common sense. So government degrees, government vocational training under SSC program is not helping people. If you compare them with private degrees, which are given by Google, Amazon, Microsoft, they are still better. At least industries are working and believing on them. Their credibility is much more. At least they will hire the employees after training them. But government training, nobody knows who is going to hire you. So skilling will only relate to economic growth and job when it is also involving training and apprenticeship. Don't give theoretical degree to somebody. Give them training, give them apprenticeship. Allow them to work before giving them job. That is the way you do studies. Higher studies means practical application. Today we are talking about open book exam. It is a good initiative, but it again will not help. The need is in college and university level. Every program, even if you study history, you should be given apprenticeship. Whether in archaeology, whether in education, you have to get yourself trained. And that is only possible when there is better industry academia collaboration, when there is better training and apprenticeship for students. Only then can things change. Giving degrees, certification, counseling, training are good. But if it doesn't translate into job, then I'm sorry, it will not really make a difference to demographic dividend. Not really. It is true, Ramu. That is a very valid point. But sometimes it is exaggerated. If it is not supplemented with training, then what is the benefit? Fundamentals are very good. Like an MBBS program. First 2 years, you may do a lot of theory, but at least the last 2 years, you will do practical application. Even if a doctor knows everything about the body, but until the doctor has tried a knife, the doctor will never know how to do a surgery. It's just about that. Okay. Quickly, the question with reference to India's skilling system. Consider these statements. One, despite large scale training and government skilling program, salary gain and vocational training in India remain low, especially in the informal sector. Second, one of the key structural weakness of India's skilling system is sector skill councils are not held responsible for employability and placement outcomes of certified candidates. And three, expanding higher education Enrollment alone, without integrating skill in formal education and training, apprenticeship, is enough. It is sufficient to achieve national education policy target for gross enrollment ratio. Which of these statements are valid? Which of these statements are valid? Absolutely correct. Sumit, Vikash, Karan, Adi, Ayan, Madhav, Akhtar, Sitaram, Terukula. That is correct, Ram. But then you will at least have a proper training of 9 months. Presumably, all my students are selected for the IAS. Close to 1 year training, you will get hands down in administration. At least that will train you for that. But today, the kind of certification programs we have, they are making you imagine that sitting at home, you become an expert in media, digital media marketing. That's not the way it works. Until you try and do a project in reality, you will never know how it is. So that's what it is looking at. Anup, Sagar, Abhilash, correct Chandrana, correct Kochumba, well done. Now, before I reach the Greenland article, here's a quick remark made by the Honorable Supreme Court. GS Paper 2. Honorable Supreme Court has said that today the people who are suffering from poor air quality, people who are experiencing health problems in the Delhi NCR region, must understand that ultimately they are the victims of something they themselves have also been the perpetrators of. All the people together have created and contributed to the pathetic air quality index right now. Today they are complaining that we are experiencing health problem. So Justice Joymala Bagchi has clearly said that ultimately it is your mistake for which you are paying the price today. After all, it is the polluter pay principle. If everybody would have acted sensibly, things could not have been like that. But today the problem is that people who are responsible for the pollution are also suffering from the impacts of that. So, therefore, ultimately, once we contribute to climate change, we become the victims of that. That's a very, very ethical statement made by the Supreme Court. GS Paper 4. Ultimately, people are a victim of their own actions. A very good case study, even for essay paper philosophy. Tomorrow, if you get an essay topic saying that we are victims of our own deeds, make sure you can write these case studies as examples and you get very good marks there. Supreme Court said, sufferers of poor air quality also contribute to the problem. That's it. So remember this, keep this in mind. Now, quickly, the last article, but the most important one for the day. My most awaited article. Let's travel to another country today. My dear students, let's travel to another country today. And the country is near the Arctic Circle. Let's travel to the country, and before you travel, at least we should know why are we traveling. Because the Prime Minister of Denmark, Denmark, which is a NATO ally, has made a comment. She says that if American President Trump tries to capture Greenland, if he tries to do the same thing with Greenland, what he has just done with Venezuela, the existence of NATO as a military alliance after the Second World War itself will come to an end. It will finish, and we may give birth to another world war. That's what she has said in a very striking statement. Before we understand what do you mean by the Greenland controversy, I want to explain in 5 minutes 3 concepts to you. Location of Greenland, ownership of Greenland. Why does President Trump want Greenland? Let's quickly talk about that. Very good, Priyanshu. Coming back to the article. Greenland has a very strategic situation. You can have a look at the map here. Here is United States of America. Yeah, right? Here are the European Unions, the Scandinavian countries. Arctic Ocean, the vast Arctic Ocean. Here comes Greenland, Denmark. Very good. Correct, Sumit. Here comes the Greenland, Denmark. You can see it clearly. The capital is in the south, Nuuk, a deep frozen country. What's the news about? Listen carefully. Greenland has a very strategic situation between North America and Europe, just right to the Arctic Sea, Arctic Circle. It is very, very important location. Listen carefully. Very important location for early warning against missile attacks, especially from Russia. If Russia does any missile attack, for America, earliest warning can come from this area. America already operates an air base in this area named as the Thule Air Base. I will show you the map of that also. Thule Air Base. Its name has been changed. Today it is known as Pitufik Air Base. Pitufik Space Base. That is an important air base operated by America in this area. Okay, the Pitufik Space Base. Earlier it was known as the Thule Air Base. It is located in the northeast coast of Greenland. Northeast coast of Greenland. Very near the Arctic Circle. Yes, it is a very strategic area for America because it allows America to do surveillance. And it also allows America to have early missile warning system. Very important for America. To track ballistic missile, to support space surveillance. Anybody who controls and influences the Greenland area will also have a great access to NATO's northern defense system. It's very clear. Now, the world today is working in such a complex situation that Russia and China, here the location you can see, the Thule Air Base. Today it is called the Pitufik Space Base. Now, Russia and China, they both are competing in the Arctic Circle. Arctic is becoming the new geopolitical battleground. Russia depends heavily on the Arctic and it has militarized the Arctic. Russia has made many military bases in the Arctic area. China calls itself a near Arctic state. China calls itself a near country, a country that is very near to the Arctic, and China also wants influence there. America sees Greenland as a very important strategic location to counter Russian and China's influence in this area. A very good question at this point. What do you mean by Arctic coastal states? Which are the Arctic coast countries? Russia, Canada, Denmark through Greenland, Norway and America. All of them follow the rules made by UNCLOS 1982, United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Sea, but America is the only country which is not ratifying them. All these Arctic coast countries, let me write down the names here. Russia, America, Denmark, then comes your Canada, and ultimately Norway. All these are the Arctic coast countries. All of them believe in UNCLOS. America does not ratify that. But there is another body in this area, very important, called Arctic Council. I want you to remember Arctic Council. What is that? Arctic Council is that intergovernmental body that was created in 1996. Why? To create cooperation among the Arctic countries. All these countries I have written on the screen. To create cooperation among them and the local people of this area. It means you can use Arctic resources for sustainable development, but you have to also take care of environmental protection. And any action on the Arctic should be discussed thoroughly. Today the world is a new place. When all these treaties were made, Arctic was completely frozen. No country could access this area. Today the reality is very different. Ice is melting because of summers and because of global warming. When ice and glaciers are melting, there are many new areas near the Arctic Circle that are opening up. Sea is expanding and ice is declining. New trade routes, new maritime routes towards Arctic have opened up between Asia, Europe and North America, leading to other countries like China also demanding access to the Arctic. Whosoever will have control on Arctic will have control on global maritime route, global trade route. They will be able to monitor the navy movements of other countries, space programs. Arctic has rare earth material. Arctic has uranium. Arctic has strategic minerals. These minerals are very important for electronic vehicles, solar batteries, semiconductor, and missiles. America, anyway, wants to reduce dependence on China for rare earth material. That is why he met on the G2 summit. America wants rare earth material. Today, if America has a clear access to Greenland and Arctic, Greenland is a pathway to Arctic, like a staircase to Arctic. If you have an access here, you will have an access to all the raw material, fish, oil, minerals, rare earth material of the Arctic. But who owns Greenland? Who has the ownership of this area? It belongs to Denmark. It is a self governing territory under Denmark, but Denmark is a NATO country. It is a NATO ally. Any attempt to take control of Greenland by any third party will violate the sovereignty of Denmark. It will violate the sovereignty of NATO. NATO has an article. The NATO Charter also has an article named as Article 5. That means collective defense. Attack against one NATO country means attack against all NATO countries. They can invoke that. It will devastate the existence of NATO. It could lead to World War III. It sets a dangerous example. Okay, so that's the controversy right now. President Trump absolutely wants this area. You know now why. But if he makes the mistake of taking it, you know how can he endanger the NATO and then collective defense will get invoked? That is dangerous. But there is another fear. Why are we so suspicious of President Trump's intention? Because just 2 weeks back, he clearly said, Europe is rotting. I don't want to participate in NATO anymore. I want to withdraw from NATO. I will not provide for military support to Europe. Could this mean somewhere he is actually planning to attack Greenland? That's the fear the global community has. And that's why Denmark leader has said, kindly don't do that. Otherwise, you will finish the concept of NATO. Because we have discussed this area, I want to, before I leave the class, also show you the location of another very important area named as Svalbard Islands. Svalbard Islands. If you don't know already, please have a look on the map. Here are the Svalbard Islands. Please have a look at them. Svalbard Islands are a small group of islands, archipelago, in the Arctic Ocean, and they are in Norway, in a country near Norway. Why are they also very important? Because they are exactly located between North Pole and Norway. Yes, who owns Svalbard? They belong to Norway, but there are international rules. All right, today there is another worry. What if President Trump might be viewing Svalbard also? Because Svalbard is an excellent area through which you can access the North Pole region, its own reserves. So that is in the news right now, and that was all about Denmark and its controlled Greenland, Norway, Svalbard. Remember all these, please. Okay, that's it from my side for the Hindu. If anybody is interested in joining the sale program, yes, the batch is beginning today on 7th January. Still, there is time we can enroll because a huge discount is ongoing. You can use my code and get further discount here. Okay, that's it from my side. That's it from my side. I hope everything is clear. I hope everything is clear so far. It's full of ice, full of resources. Please go ahead, Shabana, go ahead. Exactly, you can stop about 1 month before. If you have the prelims on 24th main, you can cover till April 25th. That's enough. Enough. And don't study anything 10 days before the exam. In the last 10 days, only look at the maps, look at mnemonics, look at these things. No practicing CSAT. And no practicing anything else. Nothing in the last 10 days, only meditation, deep breathing, relaxation, good sleep. That's it. So you practically only have time till, I would say, 15th of May. After that, I don't encourage anybody to study. Okay? All right. No problem. That's okay. You can stop after 25th April. No need. No such need for prelims. It will be useful for mains after that. Yeah, only revise. That's it. Relax, sleep, and revise. And also don't sleep at the time of the exam. Train yourself in such a way. Now also you can do that. When you are doing MCQ and PYQ, do it at the exam time only. So the brain also gets a pattern that, okay, this is the time I have to be hyperactive and maintain that schedule. Usually when we sleep till late and we have during the main exam period, morning and evening, that is the time we are not used to study. In the day of the exam also a lot of anxiety and stress can happen, so don't do that. You still can't find it, Kojumba? I'll write it here right now. I'll go to the Telegram account and copy the ID right now. Yesterday also I had done, I don't know why is it not here. Today I tried to put the scanner here but I was not able to do. I will ask somebody to help me with that. Okay, I'm writing it here. Capital S A U M, I'll write it again. Capital SAUMYA. Oh my God, so many mistakes. Capital SAUMYA. It is capital PND at UPSC capital. That's the ID. You should find it, but still, in case it's not happening, then I'll try to ask somebody to get the QR code. Okay, Priyanshu, all that also I can do. Upload it on Priyanshu's channel. Let's do that. Let me upload it on Priyanshu's channel. Priyanshu, just put a comment after the class, okay? I'll find the link of your channel. Please put it right now. I'll post it there. Thank you for your help. I'll take your leave. God bless you. See you tomorrow. God bless each one of you. Okay, Priyanshu is ready to help. I'll do that. Okay, so bye Priyanshu, bye aspirant, bye Ramu, bye Kojumba, bye Madhav, bye Ayan, bye Shabana, bye Kojumba, bye Chandana, bye Sitaram, Terukula, Prasad, as well as Priyanshu, of course, and Urmila, Chandana, Abhilash, Sagarika, Ramu, Eric, Kojumba, Akhtar, Santosh, Karan, Kuldeep. Congratulations once again, Kuldeep. Bye bye, Dev. Bye bye, Karan. Bye bye, Josna. Urupam. Okay, Sumit, Vikash, Prabhav, Ayan, Satya, Santosh. That's it, I think. Rebina, Anwar, aspirant. That's it. Satya, I have mentioned. Okay. So, anybody I'm missing? Apologies for that. Okay. Bye bye.